Well, good morning, everybody. We had a really good night last night. The sun is up. It's a nice warm day. We have a nice breeze coming in, and we're going to go over to a place called Little Finland, which is in all of those red rocks you see over my shoulder. We're going to hike over there today and see what we can see, and we're going to take all you guys with us. You can see where we're camped back there, and one of the things I really like about camping in that specific spot, and I will put the coordinates to that spot, is that you have quick access to three really cool areas to go and hike in. One of them we are of course going to is called Little Finland. The other one is another trail just next to where we're camped. It's in those red rocks behind us. And then the other really cool hike is those red rocks farther in the distance. That's a place called the Seven Keyholes Slot Canyon. Now, I did that hike last year. If you'd like to see that, I'll put a link right up here to that video. But we're still going to go up there. There's a few other things there I didn't show in the video that I think I will show you guys when I get up there. So after you get to this point, you'll see where it drops off down into the wash. This is the main road that everybody takes to get over to Little Finland. So we're just going to walk along the edge of the wash here for a little bit. There's a spot up ahead here where we'll be able to safely get down into the bottom of the wash. This area right here will enable us to get down safely. Looks like an old cow path here. You're going to find a lot of that. They still do some grazing in this area, so you'll run into areas where there's going to be cows and fresh cow poop and trails. For years, much like most of the public lands in the West, the public lands in the Gold Butte area were leased for private cattle businesses, as evidenced by the historic corral here in Mud Wash. Grazing has largely been curtailed within the monument since Clark County bought and retired all of the grazing permits back in 1998. Yet cattle can still be seen grazing in the area to this day. These cattle belong to one Cliven Bundy. Back in 1993, Mr. Bundy decided to protest against changes to the BLM's grazing rules by declining to renew his permit, all while continuing to graze his cattle on public lands. In 1998, a court order prohibiting Mr. Bundy from grazing his cattle in the area was issued and then promptly ignored. In July 2013, another court order was issued ordering Bundy to refrain from trespassing on public land in Gold Butte. This was also ignored. In April 2014, the BLM began a roundup of Bundy's livestock, only to be confronted by a group of armed protesters that had arrived at Mr. Bundy's request, resulting in an armed standoff with the BLM. The situation was only diffused when the BLM decided to let Bundy's cattle go, and to this day they still graze for free in the monument. This is an interesting chapter in the Sagebrush Rebellion's history, and if you'd like to learn more about the standoff, I'd highly recommend listening to the podcast Bundyville. So from the direction that we approach this, we're going to need to cross a fence. It's either stepping over it or crawling under it. Looks like the stepping over was the easy thing to do. Come on, Doug. There you go. Now we'll head down to the floor of the canyon here. As you get closer to where these seeps come out from under this sandstone, there's a lot of this alkali material on the ground, turning things white around here. There's probably a few other minerals in it as well, but it's all over here. Yeah, this place has a lot of really cool little nooks and crannies to go and explore. Named after the delicate fins of red Aztec sandstone found throughout the area, Little Finland's significance lies in its extraordinary geology and unique aesthetic appeal. Carved by wind and water over millions of years, the twisted and contorted rock formations of this wonderland stand as a testament to the Earth's unparalleled capacity for crafting the surreal. Little Finland's sandstone formations are primarily sedimentary rock, which means they originated from the accumulation and compaction of sediment over time. The formation first began forming during the Jurassic period, about 150 to 200 million years ago, when sandstone deposits were covered by younger sand dunes and solidified. About 10 to 16 million years ago, the hardened sandstone uplifted and groundwater left minerals that clung to the stone and hardened. This left the stone with patches that were harder than others, which caused the stone to erode at different speeds. This stone, combined with years of wind, have created the fantastical formations that exist today. There are all these little round nodules inside of this formation down here on the ground. Absolutely beautiful in here. There's like a tiny little arch over there. So this is the main area where people can come up and drive around. You can also come up here over towards the end where we started this hike from. That's how you can get up into this area here. So a lot of people do that. But this is a fantastic place to come up and hike. Pretty incredible scenery. So we're going to be turning around here and heading back to camp. This has just been a fantastic hike today. This whole trip has been really nice. We've seen very few people. We ran into a couple of BLM rangers that were driving through the area, patrolling. Sat and talked with them for a little while. I was kind of curious when I saw these guys out there. I asked them how often they make a loop through this area, and I guess they get out there about 4 times a month. But evidently there has been money appropriated to hire a full-time ranger for the monument. You know, it'll be one guy for about 300,000 acres, but at least it'll be somebody out here keeping an eye on this stuff. Well, good morning, everybody. So we are walking from our campsite up to a trailhead here, and we're going to head over to those rocks and go look at some interesting things over there. I think I said that we were going to try and do this as an evening hike last night. We got back to camp after being over in Little Finland yesterday and decided just to kick back, relax, take a nap, watch clouds float through the sky. It was pretty nice. But today we're just going to do a short walk up here to this trail head and hike on that trail, and then we're going to drive around to the other side of these red rocks and show you some other really cool stuff. So this is the parking area and the trailhead to what we're going to go and look at over here in these rocks. Yeah, this is pretty cool looking in here. It looks like you used to be able to drive all the way up here and camp. There's a lot of really cool alcoves here. And we found a little side trail here. Looks like it's been hiked on before. We're going to follow it. Well, let's see where this passage leads. This is like a portal to another world here. Wow, look at that. Very cool. Ooh, it is nice and cool down in here. I like this. All right, seems like it turns this way. Let's look and see what's over here. Got to crouch down to get out of this. Okay. Well, this is pretty cool. I don't see any petroglyphs, but that was a fun little hike. Oh, here's another one. Nice. Oh, yeah. So apparently this keeps going. We're going to check it out. I dropped the pack. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, this is really cool in here. Had no idea this went back this far. We're going to be going someplace a little later on today where we get back in one of these slot canyons and it is full of petroglyphs, but this one doesn't look like it has any, but it's still really cool. Wow. All right, so we're going to head out here.
Let's pack it back on.
Those are pretty. So we'll get back to the truck. We already got everything packed before we left to go on this hike. And then I'm going to take you guys someplace really cool. So we'll see you in a few. All right, we are at the 7 Keyholes Slot Canyon trailhead. We left the car back there and we are going to hike down here and check it out. This hike from the trailhead is pretty quick. It's maybe about a quarter of a mile. With this hike, the trail just follows this old road that goes down here. They have this area blocked off so you can't drive down here anymore. It looks like some people do, but it largely serves as the trail at this point. As you get closer to this wall heading into the canyon, it is definitely worth stopping and taking a look. A little farther up, you're going to find a lot of these. These panels are pretty well known. This is probably next to Little Finland. This is the most popular spot in this part of Gold Butte National Monument, so it gets a lot of traffic. Just past those petroglyph panels, you'll find this trail, and this is the 7 Keyholes slot canyon. So here we're coming up on the end, and we're going to go in here and take a look at some stuff. If you're out here, you're going to want to come all the way back here, and it's great on a hot day because it's nice and cool in here. And as you can see, this area here was used extensively to carve these messages into the walls. See that one? Wow, look at that. See, that's the thing with a lot of these, is you can walk right past them without even noticing them. It's important to stop and take stock of your surroundings, see what's on the walls. There are these big fractures in this chunk of sandstone that have eroded out to form little adjacent slot canyons. Isabel's up in here looking to see if there's any petroglyphs that we might not have seen before. But this place is really spectacular. I can't recommend it enough. It's a real quick walk down here. I mean, getting out here, of course, it's going to take you a little bit. Just look into it, make sure you plan ahead. It's well worth the adventure. Well, let's go and check this out over here. You said this went right back. Oh, look at that. right, there's the road we hiked in on. That was a cool little loop. You should check it out. We're going to head back to the truck. We left the dogs there. This was a pretty quick hike. We just figured it would be a little easier. This is kind of a known about and popular place, so the chances of you running into somebody out here are a bit higher, and sometimes wrangling the dogs while I'm filming isn't always an ideal situation. But today there hasn't been anybody here. We had the whole place to ourselves, so I suppose we could have brought the dogs. But at any rate, we are going to head back up to the truck and head on down the road to the Gold Butte town site, where we're going to camp tonight. Good morning, everybody. We made it up here to the Gold Butte town site, and we found a nice campsite, but I think we have a storm coming in, so it's been real windy last night and this morning. But we're going to spend a little bit of time wandering around up here and showing all you guys what this place looks like. When you get here to the town site, there's this sign. I'll read it for you. I don't know how well it's going to come through on the camera, but so the Gold Butte town site, the granite cliffs of Gold Butte Peak lie in front of you. Gold was discovered up there in 1905, and soon the gold rush was on as people made their way to the big strike. The tent city of Gold Butte was formally established when a post office opened in early 1906. This area, downtown Gold Butte, which is where we are right now, included the post office, a store, a saloon, and a brothel. Supplies were hauled by wagon from the town of St. Thomas, which lies 2 days' travel by wagon to the northwest across the Virgin River. At the peak of the mining activity, Gold Butte had about 2,000 residents, all living out of canvas tents spread out across the valley behind you. By late 1910, the mining boom had ended and the miners had packed up and drifted away, and the Gold Butte post office closed. For several years, this area became little more than a dusty memory for the cattlemen who ranched the area. In the late 1910s, an unlikely duo came together, Bill Garrett and Art Coleman, who would remain at Gold Butte for the next 40 years. Garrett was a husky cattleman who worked with the Wild West shows, where he could trick rope with the best and use a six-shooter with great skill. Coleman, a slight man, was a prospector who was said to have an uncanny knack for following tiny gold veins deep into the mountains. Garrett and Coleman lived in a wooden house and had a moonshine still out back somewhere. The Gold Butte train ran by their home, and a traveler could not pass without being invited in for a home-cooked meal. They were known in the region as honest men, wonderful hosts, and trustworthy neighbors. Coleman died in 1958 at the age of 82, and Garrett followed in 1961 at the age of 81. More than 100 people came to Gold Butte to pay their respects when Bill passed, and they were buried here near their home, which is now gone. Gibbs Camp, a collection of canvas tents that made up the easternmost neighborhood of Gold Butte, lies about 0.6 miles east-northeast of here. Today at Gibbs Camp, visitors can see the tent sites, historical cans, and a granite astra, which is a primitive mill for grinding and pulverizing high-grade ore. The rock jumbles south of here are 1.7 billion years old, while the Great Cliffs to the north are less than 500 million years old. The ancient granites were uplifted and exposed when the crust of the earth in this area was pulled apart over the last 10 million years, and the limestones on the other side of the fault originally were 6 miles to the east. And as we come over here, you can see here is the gravestone for William H. Garrett. He was born in 1880 and passed away in 1961. And over here is Arthur S. Coleman, 1876 to 1958. So this is about all that's left of the Gold Butte town site. There's a few concrete pads left over too. These would probably make a really great campsite. Nice, flat, hard, level. There's a couple of them over here. There's a nice old stove here. Wow. Some thick cast iron there. This bed has seen better days. Pretty nice looking water there. You'd want to filter it before you took a drink. Most of the poop you're seeing around here is from burros. There's a large population of feral burros here in Gold Butte. I think this is where the actual spring is. We'll go take a look. Oh, it's not so windy in here. Oh, this looks interesting. Well, this definitely looks like someplace where water pools up at certain times of the year. Oh yeah, looks like this is where the water seeps out when it does. Oh, there's a pipe. I'm pretty sure that is what is delivering water to that tank over there. What a nice big live oak here. Well, here's an old fixer-upper. Got a few parts of it left. I don't know how much Bondo you'd need to repair this, though. Got parked here several decades ago and never driven again. The Gold Butte area contains an extraordinary variety of diverse and irreplaceable scientific, historic, and prehistoric resources, including vital plant, wildlife habitat, significant geological formations, rare fossils, important sites from the history of Native Americans, and remnants of our Western mining and ranching heritage. The landscape reveals a story of thousands of years of human interaction with this harsh environment and provides a rare glimpse into the lives of Nevada's first inhabitants, the rich and varied indigenous cultures that followed, and the eventual arrival of Euro-American settlers. All right, we are back at Whitney Pocket, which is kind of the main starting point for most people that come into the monument here to do the route that we did or to go over to Little Finland. When you get into the monument, you can stop here and take a look at the sign. This gives you a general overview of what to expect, what to look for. Gives you some suggestions on places to stop. So make sure you bring a map, whether it's on your phone or a physical paper map. It's important to have something like that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video tour of Gold Butte National Monument. I will put the coordinates on where we camped and a lot of these places that we went hiking in, things that we saw, that kind of stuff. I will make sure those are all in the description below the video. And that way, if you want to come out here, you'll know where to go. So if you did like this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos about hiking and camping out here on America's public lands, consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already, and you can join us next time. So we'll see you guys then.